So, language is the greatest invention of human beings. I am the only one researcher in the whole world of creativity researchers, which are thousands and thousands in numbers, who have written so many books on creativity. I am the only one who differentiated creation, discovery, invention, innovation and genius. Yeah, because researching that was my life mission. So in that context, there are a lot of creativity researchers who simply says everybody is a genius. He is right, but I am sure even he has not looked into the meaning of the word genius, the lexical meaning dictionary meaning. Because it must be a genius, okay, according to that. What is a genius for them? Extraordinarily intelligent, extraordinary intellect, God-given special person and so on and so forth. Quite possibly the dictionaries or the languages or the words have been coined by so-called highly brilliant people. And such one of them created the word genius, and the first meaning given is the attendant spirit of a person, place or thing in any dictionary. And he also specifies what are the root words from which the word genius has been derived. And that root words are geni and jin. Okay? None of them, the beautiful thing is that none of these two words means attendant spirit of a person, place or thing. Okay? That's why I call, so that the guy who created that word is definitely a genius. Okay? He said attendant spirit of a person. Why he said so? The greatest poet, the greatest musician, the greatest writer, the greatest philosopher, they all seem to have got it from so-called somewhere within, though they may claim that it has come through them, etc., etc. That spirit by which somebody goes to undertakes a hazardous journey through the oceans to discover, widely to discover land, that hazardous effort to sit down and work in a complicated laboratory, that experimentation of meditating and incubating upon a theme and creating huge philosophies, okay? What is that so-called spirit or energy required to do that? So that is from within. So that is attendant. What is an attendant? You press a bell. You are a CEO of a company or he or a senior officer. You are you have an attendant, somebody who is attending to you. So you press the bell, it comes. So when you press the bell of your inspiration, when you press that intent to do something, and if you properly press the buttons inside you, that the spirit will start operating. That is the attendant spirit of a person. In that context, we have already discussed that if in the thousands and thousands of schools in this country or in the world, I don't know about the world, but I am very sure about India, in class 5, 6 or 7, okay, a well-meaning, inspiring English teacher comes to the class and asks the children, do you know the word genius? Okay. Yes, they may say, especially in today's internet time. This is the meaning of the word genius. This is the meaning given to that word by the person who created that term. Okay. So long as we use that word, we have no right to alter that meaning. You can perhaps add, supplement some new meanings, which they have done in the dictionary. That's why in all the dictionaries, Oxford or Merriam-Webster or Cambridge or for 10, 12 dictionaries, you will see an average 13 meanings for the word genius. Except the first one, all other meanings are so superlative. Okay? God-given special person, extraordinary intellect, etc. are running almost common through all the 13 meanings. And just imagine, When a child in plus 2 or in college hears the word genius in the context of Albert Einstein or Tagore or Ramanujan, an 18-year-old or 20-year-old child just cannot feel. They feel nowhere near them. So that unconscious mind, the mind is 75% to 80% unconscious. I mean non-conscious. The data processing is done at the non-conscious level. That non-conscious reality of the person instantly concludes, oh, I can never be like that. They don't even dare to think that. That glorified deity of Albert Einstein or Edison or Ramanujan or Vyasa or I would say even the image of Krishna or Buddha or Jesus or Shiva or Parvati or Saraswati, all these are equally glorified because that is the requirement, that's a fundamental requirement, no doubt. For the majority of the population, that means 99.2% of the majority of population just cannot afford to accept the possibility, distant possibility that they are anywhere near Albert Einstein or Shiva or Parvati. So the only way is to elevate them as special gods and deities, okay? Even when those deities are declaring that I am you and you are me and I am Brahmasmi and I am Atma Brahma and Tattvamasi and all those things. Get the point. So we started discussing saying that every word is an important tool. Why I said this, I am the one who differentiated creation, invention, etc. is to also say that mankind talks about all these words interchangingly. That's why I said I am the only one who differentiated it. I would say there is only one invention made by some human beings. Invention meaning creating something which has no parallel, no correlates, no comparable things in the planet Earth. And that is language. When we say, some people would say birds have a language, etc. They communicate. But language in the system of having a script, letters, sentences, syntax, morpheme, structure, etc. etc. That is the only one invention. Motor car and AK-47s and atom bombs are only creations. Creation meaning taking things out from here and there, refine it, redesign it, restructure it and assemble it in the form of an AK-47 or an automobile engine. That is creation. Okay. Discovery is something which is already there, you go and unearth it or open it up and identify that. Innovation meaning for an existing thing, you add on something extra. Then there is modification, little kind of a step comparable to innovation. In innovation there is an element of creation is there. Modification also there is a slight element. You modify, let us say, I every time modify the room setting. If the chairs were there, I will put it here. Sometimes the screens will be put it there. So that's kind of a modification. Okay. Innovation meaning maybe I have a specially designed table here. This goes very well with this old looking room. If it was an ordinary table, actually it would look little misfit. I am just giving an example. So what I want to say primarily is that language is the greatest invention, the only invention of human beings, and the main critical point I want to say is that every word is a magnificent tool. And when there are rules, even to hold a pencil, there must be rules. There are rules on how to use a word. Every word should be used with wonder and respect and gratitude. Why? Because of a critical reason that you communicate with other people through language, through the words and sentences, and unfortunately you communicate within you through the same language. That's why your language should be refined and if possible sublime, poetic language. That's the beauty of Sanskrit, Sanskrit is poetic. So, when you go to schools, you have to take the 10 minutes to talk only about language. That's enough. Because language is the only one tool of the so-called human beings. You cannot enter into the heart of the other person physically and do some mechanism there. You only communicate, you only use language to other people. So that language has to be mastered. And everybody who talks mother tongue, they think that they are all masters. They are all very fluent in using language because that is the only one thing they have been trained from childhood. Nothing else is so much trained, you see. Everybody is talking to the child. A child hears everybody, a lot of people talking. Everywhere there is language and words. Almost 24 hours the child is being trained in a language. That's why it talks so fluent, that's all. It has no mastery. Evidenced by the fact that if, let us say, Malayalam or Tamil, okay, why there should be Tamil language taught in the schools? These children who talk so fluent Tamil, they cannot understand even one lesson in Tamil textbook, in Malayalam textbook. In fact, you ask any student in Kerala, Malayalam is the toughest subject to get good marks. So why should they learn? That itself is the clear evidence that language should be mastered. Every parent has to consciously try to refine the way the language is structured and used according to the context to the child. In every school they should train the language, that's enough. I have mastered language, Nitin, that was my advantage. You know, I have not been sent to schools by my father, though my mother was the headmistress of the school at that time. He said that once in a while we were just moving together, and once in a while he will take 2-3 slogans of Kalidasa Sakuntalam or Kadambari Sangraham or Banabhattan or 1 or 2 pieces of Mandukya Upanishad or Prasada Upanishad or Kada Upanishad. There are not 2 lines, and actually I never liked those times in fact. That was my advantage. I passed the SSLC by chance, by tuition. And my mother said that I passed by moderation. Yeah. You know something called moderation, yeah. If certain percentage of students are failed, then the education department thinks it is very poor percentage. So if you put 10 marks, how many will pass? That's called moderation. I passed like that only. When we were doing that, it was pre-degree, not plus 2. And that was in colleges. Pre-degree, I passed by the 4th chance, 4th attempt. Yeah. And I never bothered about studies or anything. And here comes the element of the role of parents. My mother, of course, cried and all that, but she was never allowed to scold me or anything. And my father never did even look at me, you know, why like this? Never. And you know, school teachers, they are supposed to be, their children are all very studious. I know most of the children of almost all the teachers, let us say, all of them got first class. First class in SLC meaning something great at that time. And they would be received by elephant procession and all that, okay. And when the college child is getting a first class, I failed in my plus 2. Even then, they did not even look at me with any scornful eyes, why are you like this, etc. etc. My mother cried just once, okay. And she was a very celebrated teacher. She was the 3rd matriculate in Kerala state, that kind of a mother. And when she was the headmistress, she is the one who talks every assembly near the examination that all of you come to first class and all that. Okay. And her child was like that. So what I am telling you is that even then, this I tell you so that you should know everything, so that the parents should know how to deal with the so-called child. I will tell you the advantage of that. I was so free. So 2 years I was fooling around. 2 years it would take to finish 4 attempts of plus 2. I was moving around with hooligans. I was known as a rowdy. I was a rowdy. Fooling around with always people elder to me, 18-year, 20-year-old, 23-year-old kind of useless guys. At that time nobody much go into schools. Now only everybody goes to school, you know. There were plenty of non-school going people around. So I would go, I was expert in playing cards. There was a card game called 56. Yeah. I was an expert. Then I used to go to toddy shop. I started smoking at the age of 14. Toddy shop, all these things. So one day then one son of my mother's colleague got first class in plus 2. So his so he was going to a college called Union Christian College Alway, UC College Alway, which I have heard. At that time, no internet, we don't read newspaper. No, I have never gone out of my place, in fact. But we all had heard that there is a great college called UC College Alway, which is the topmost rated college. So he got admission there. That was a big talk all around. So one day he was going to join the hostel. So he had that trunk, that hand trunk. So I said, I am also coming with you, at least I will carry your trunk. So we had to travel about 130, 150 kilometers from, at that time my mother was teaching in Munnar High School, Government High School, Munnar. So about 150 kilometers to Alva. And we reached there by about 11 o'clock. And first time I am seeing a college, because for plus pre-degree I got admission to a newly started college. It was a shred only. Okay. And I think I am the third batch of pre-degree or something like that. And students were all 20-year-old. I was just 14, 18-year-old. And first time I see a college, huge buildings and the trees and plants and all those things. And above all, beautiful girls in half sari and all walking around. By the way, by that time I was already a poet, because my mother gave me a lot of books to read. So I have read almost all classic poetry and novels and Malayalam Eskapataka, M.T. Vasu, Remu, and then Mayadil Radhakrishnan, all these books I had already read. And I used to write beautiful poems, which my mother also said beauty. So why I said this poetry, short story meaning, we have a special sensitivity to beautiful girls. So I was wondering, my dear Nitin, as I entered the gate, I saw a few girls coming out of the steps and walking towards the gate. They were going to the hostels. This college had more than 1,200 students staying in the hostels. That was the kind of college. 3 girls' hostels on the other side of the road. My first thought was actually, why I am not here? I remember that. This is our luck, about which we will discuss later. Origination of an idea in your mind. And I walked behind him, and he walked through the steps and went to a hostel called Skinner Hostel. Huge grounds, and I am seeing so many buildings. Huge football, huge stadium, 3 stadiums in Union Christian College at that time. Yeah, the Skinner Hostel was by at the far end of the stadium. So stadium was down and the wall and side of the. And I came back, and he had to go to class. He had to go, so I said bye bye. And I went to this college is about 12 kilometers away from Alva bus stand. So I went back, and there were only 2 buses to Munnar at that time. One bus goes early morning and other bus goes at 2 p.m. So I rushed to the bus stand, and 2 p.m. is the bus. 2:30 or so. Sorry, 3 o'clock, 2:30 something like that. So on the pillar there is a sitting round on the pillar. So I was having a cigarette and tea which was available nearby inside the bus stand, and sitting there. And in front of me, fast passenger to Munnar comes from Ernakulam, and it parked actually in front of me. And I see the board, Munnar, and I am sitting there. And some people had tea or something like that. I think few passengers in it. Then the driver got in, and the bus reversed, and it went off. I had only some 30 rupees in my hand. So what I did in short is, I went to a nearby hotel called Arama Hotel. The room rent was 25 rupees. So I had no money to eat. So okay, I came back to the bus stand and I had a cigarette and tea. Then and when I sit there, next day early morning I got up by the sound of the transport buses starting around 4 o'clock. It's quite adjacent to the bus stand. So I came out, again had a cigarette and tea. Then I saw a bus, Parur, via UC College. Okay. At that time I had no watch and all that. So I got inside the bus. There were only 2-3 passengers, I suppose. I got down at UC College in that night time. I saw the buildings and I had a special appreciation all the time for the trees and the plants and the birds because I grew up in a mountainous region. My father was the superintendent of a cardamom estate deep down. And I grew up with a wonderful guy called Pandian. He is a tribal who was in charge of protecting my father. He had a double-barrel gun. He was about 6 feet 3 inches tall, very fair and head straight and all the time having pan in his mouth. He was my guru about the forests and the wind and all those things. So I had a love for rains and mist and all those things. So I came and I sat near that stadium steps. I waited for some time. The morning appeared. Then on the side of that stadium steps was the wall of the house of the principal of the college, C.T. Benjamin. So about 9 o'clock, then I could peep into the door. Then I saw a young lady coming out. Then I went to the gate and I said good morning. She said, and she smiled at me and asked, what do you want? I said, could you kindly give me 2-3 papers, white paper? I always carried a pen. That was the culture in Kerala. Not only me, almost every student had a pen. And she brought me two papers. And I said something. And I came out and sitting on that stadium, I wrote all the 4 sides, a letter. And just opposite to that was the house of the vice principal. Somebody said the principal was not there. Vice principal's name was Dr. A.K. Baby. So I went there, the gate was closed. I opened the gate and the door was, I think, open, but nobody was there. I just went and stood there. Then a person, a very majestic looking person, very majestic, came out and asked what. Then I just gave him these papers. Standing there, he read all the 4 pages. In between he would look at me. And then he said, go to the office room, collect your application. I will tell him, I will call Prathapan, he said the name, and get you an application form and fill it and go home and bring your boxes and all that to stay here. I will leave by a letter. I had not even applied. I am not even eligible to apply. Okay. So what I am talking is, this much I talked is to talk the power of language. And later he said, he had never seen Malayalam language used in such a powerful configuration in a public meeting. And therefore I was given admission. Yeah. And he was a teacher of history only. He was a professor of history. So that's all. That's all I said all this. So language is a powerful tool. I told you I can capture, I have done even with government schools where, for example, about 13 years back, a father, a reverend father called me, could you address the class 12 outgoing students? After 4 o'clock we can talk to them for about 45 minutes. And I reached there and they were assembled not in a hall, only +2 science group or whatever. So it was not a hall, but it was a huge space with pillars in between and all. So they were all standing and a few seats were there sitting. And he told me, they are all very hooliganic children. This is a special school conducted for a kind of, students who do not get admission anywhere. That's the Christian philosophy. They have schools for the most brilliant as well, that kind of a school. So I hope you'll be able to talk for at least 10 minutes. The talk went up till 6:30. Pin drop silence. And then finally he came and he said, they are also standing. He said, First time I am seeing all of you standing with pin drop silence. What I am telling is, there is the possibility of language. So the message is to convey to people is that they should all, everyone should master that only one tool. Because they can talk about whatever they want, can talk like politics or foreign affairs or the wars and rumor mongering and quarreling and all that. And they should all use poetic language. Why not? I have experimented with this, Nitin. So some 10-12 people are doing huge discussion on a film. Okay. I said it was a unique gathering. I said okay. All the 12 people you sit there. You come and give a talk on that film. You say whatever you were talking there. No sentence is coming out. Not a single sentence. And as I am challenging, I said, I am challenging every one of you. You are all shouting it and arguing with each other. Okay? Come on. So, they are all just automatically doing it, that's all. They are not able to so-called systematically, an organized delivery of their own ideas, which they have been talking. So conversational language is easy for anybody because that's what they have been trained from childhood. I talked this much so that they will put this on our videos. I have never done this like this. Anyway, so first one is about the first part of that syllabus. We will begin a little bit systematically. Otherwise, we will go here and there. We are about to begin what you call brain and all that. That if, just imagine, if the discussion on brain and the central nervous system happens after 300 days of your Rasayana, I know what will be the difference. That is the right time. Because you are also asking questions, it will go almost like a conversational mode, which may cover a lot of things, for which I have to consciously try. So here we will follow the syllabus perfectly, okay? But I am just introducing the syllabus now. So, and I would say that this is the most possible greatest syllabus in the world. Yeah, but you will know after some time. So, this I want to particularly say because I am sitting in India. Because India is the only one goddamned country where its own genius was never recognized and glorified. This so-called Bharat. Even in the recent times, when they are celebrating the Sir Rabindranath Tagore, he was recognized by the so-called Britishers. Ramanujan was identified by the West. Even Vivekananda was identified by the West. Okay? I have got invitation more than 10 times to go to the US. Yes. I said, somehow I am not interested in coming there. Because my father worked with Subhash Chandra Bose. He instilled in me a stupid love for this country where hard-working geniuses are never noticed. They are all subdued by the stupid politics of the incompetent authorities that control and manage and lead the organizations in this country. Yeah. Therefore, I say this statement. First is what I call referent reality perspective. That is just the name. The training will be in concept sense clarity. In brief, concept meaning mental impression. In psychology, concept as well as idea have the same meaning, even in the dictionary, meaning mental impression. Concepts are mental impression of a single word or two words together. Okay, the concept of beautiful. Okay. Yesterday I saw a very beautiful girl in the temple ground. That's an idea. And that mental impression is an idea. That's the only difference. Okay, which we will discuss. So concept sense clarity. Why concept sense clarity is because every word is the name of a mental impression. Okay? So this thing is named pencil. In other words, you cannot write with P-E-N-C-I-L. It is the name of this thing, which is very important and very essential. Because every time I don't know how to tell you, Nitin, take that long thing, with which we write on the paper. So naming is of great advantage, no doubt about that. But that advantage, that light of advantage should not have the darkness of blocking us from sensing the reality of this thing. Get the point? And anyway, pencil is an object word. In fact, at least 60% of the words in any language, they are all high-level concepts, like beautiful. I cannot show you, like I show you a pencil, I cannot show you beautiful in itself. I can say the design of this pencil is beautiful, which you may sometimes debate. Or the concept. Manager is a concept, father is a concept, mother is a concept, friend is a concept, love is a concept, life is a concept. Okay? Whereas food is a concept, whereas food you can give it as a name to that eatable in front of you also. So there are in between neutral words also. So concept sense clarity is the beginning. That means as soon as you hear a word, you will get the mental impression of it. You cannot go beyond that. You can then imagine according to that mental impression. For example, I am telling you, once upon a time is a concept. I cannot show you once upon a time. If I tell you in 1823, some feeling is there. That too is a kind of a vague mental impression derived out of your experience with the numbers and the name, numbers of years, etc. Now you know it is 2024, so 1850 meaning it's that many years back, an idea. So we have a concept of, let's say, Zen as of now. But if I use the word Zen to somebody, he doesn't have any concept even. Okay. Or he might have heard that word. He will say, yeah, I have heard that word, that's all. Okay. And if somebody talks to you in Russian, for example, or in French, or in Japanese, you just hear sounds only. And these are all simple things anyway. So, concept sense, from concept sense, ideally you should proceed on to an imagined possibility of whatever you have, that impression. That's also having limitation. Like devotion. I mean, the Malayalam is bhakti or Tamil is bhakti. Even that concept sense itself is little tough. Okay. So, to Zen, so I may have to talk 200 another words with whose concepts are clear to you in order to make you develop the concept sense of the single word Zen, Sadian Zen, for example. Monks, You have a conscious sense, as you have a visual also inside, you see. But that visual is different from concept. No? Concept of a monk and the visual of a monk, or even a real monk standing here, are two different things. Even when a monk is really standing there, you have a mental impression about the monk even before. Or you will develop a mental impression about him. Let's say a mental impression A. Another person seeing the same person will also have a mental impression. Alright? Let's say name it B. And after this monk is left, when you may make an opinion about that monk, then only you would discover that he had a different mental impression about him, for example, hypothetically. Not necessarily, but hypothetically. So, I said this to differentiate between every word is the name of a concept, meaning mental impression. That mental impression is named actually. Because even when you are able to touch and take and utilize and manipulate this wood piece of pencil, still your system cannot feel one with this pencil. Like the finger is a part of you. Even when you touch it so intimately, it is not a part of your body. It remains its identity. Beyond even your correct mental impression of its correct length, size, weight, color, etc. etc. Definitely that mental impression corresponds to this. You say it is light blue in color, somebody else also would agree. So that is in short called conscious sense. You will be doing a lot of exercise on your own. Every day you will be taking at least 3 to 5 to 9 words depending upon your time. You write the word. Conscious sense will always have some description. That's the advantage of word, you know. I don't have to tell you, please bring that thing on your friend which you used to talk to someone. You don't have to say, I will say, give that phone, see. So naming is so great advantage. Like, I don't have to tell about somebody who's 6 feet tall with slightly dark hair and this thick, that thick, etc., wearing a banyan, call him. So I can tell him, call Nitin. So that advantage is there. That's the only advantage, which is a great advantage for the majority, no doubt. But we are talking about conscious sense because we want to go beyond the ordinary. We want to go to the so-called truth of things. And the truths are definitely not in the words. Truth is not the word. As I told you, come on, have a biryani, and I write B-A-R-A-Y-N-I and give it to you. That is not the truth. So biryani is the thing which you have to eat. In that sense, words are not the truth. But words are a wonderful tool, to access the truth. Provided your power of attention, that we are talking about later. Okay? Rather what I call the engines of your intellect, your sensitivity, your attention, your perception, your cognition, your projection, your imagination, your conceptualization, your visualization, etc. All those which I call the engines of intellect. If they are powerful, you can utilize these words and open the gateless gate of the margin, the boundary between the words and the reality, and enter the reality. For example, the topmost word of our beginning discourse, so-called English word enlightenment. What is enlightenment? Nobody knows. If I told somebody got so-called enlightened, with what words he will talk about it? Even if he talk about it, the listener do not know which word is referring to what. The word God is known, the so-called God is known, I am sure I am telling the whole world, that is known to only that person who saw something, experienced something and used the word God to name it. Nobody else. Why I am so sure is, the so-called reality of God, the next one I called referent reality perspective. The so-called referent reality meaning the reality of this pencil referred to by the word pencil. The so-called referent reality of the God is definitely not the word, and by using the gate of the word you cannot touch the referent reality, because you do not know what is the referent reality. Let's say so-called concept of God, so-called concept of enlightenment, and people are all after that by reading some literature. Now, I don't know, I have gone through most of the literature, I have never seen somebody defining what is enlightenment. If at all defining, okay, you come across your original self, you will have a light, you will feel the entire world is one, you have united with the world, etc., etc. Okay. This is a wonderful piece of work in physics, not in physics, by the name The Tao of Physics, written by a Nobel Prize nominated physicist by the name Fritjof Capra. Yeah. The third page is just a description of his so-called, I think, enlightenment or God experience, something like that. That is something like this. One day he was lying down on Miami Beach or somewhere, alone, looking at the sky. Suddenly he felt the entire universe is a dance of particles, subatommic particles. This is a particle physicist. That's okay. Then he says the entire world is a dance of Shiva. That's what is written. Definitely he has all the right to say that. The entire world is nothing but an ocean of particles, because the particle of this air and the particle of this nail and the particle of this plastic and the particle of the paper and the particle of the glass and the particle of the silicone, all these are at particle level identical. Yeah. Only its rather molecular structure and other structure only gives its unique identity and color and form and shape and structure and mass and whatever. So, but he has been trying for this, Fritjof Capra. He was in India for a long time, learned about all the Upanishads. That's a different story. Coming back to the point, let us say Fritjof Capra got so-called enlightened, okay? And he describes the way he, in finest possible term of particle physics, that the entire universe is nothing but an ocean of particles, subatomic particles. I felt it, I could see it. And instantly I could see it as the dance of Shiva. That's what he has written. And little more, it's almost a full single paragraph. Now, agreed. Now, somebody is trying to wait there lying in the beach and looking for the world to see particle ocean. That's what people do. Somebody sitting there and looking at studying the entire Shiva Samgraha, whatever, blah blah blah, and looking for the dance of Shiva, he will be completely in conflict, because Shiva is a famous, well-known idol. Okay? For example, his mental impression of Shiva is that well-known Nataraja idol, or the Shiva also with the snake and Vijaya and all those things. That was the way Fritjof Capra used the words to refer to the reality of his experience. Using those words, nobody can reach that reality if the purpose is to reach the reality which he experienced. The same case is with the Buddha's description of enlightenment, or Bhagavad Krishna says, or Jesus says, or Zen monk says, or whoever says. It is their language, and they cannot create a language. Let us say Fritjof Capra used a different word to name it. How will we tell you that this is the meaning of that word? Get the point? That's why the most efficient Zen masters developed the method of parabolic analysis to reach what they call Satori, which is different from enlightenment. That we will discuss later. All these things we discussed in the context of concepts and so on. Concepts of object words, concepts of sensitivity words, perception words, experience words, feeling words, imagination words, which are all becoming gradually deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay. So that is the beginning of consciousness clarity. Okay. Then intended outcome, language competency and dialoguing power. This I wrote for students only. Okay. How much power, but that is very, which we mentioned in a few minutes back also. You have to develop above all the number one competency of language by the simple fact who controls the world, the politicians, highly educated people, refined people, blah blah blah, philosophers, etc. etc. But the countries are controlled by so-called politicians. Yeah, don't underestimate them. When other students were sitting in the classroom and obediently learning subjects, they were experimenting with their interaction with other students. So an average politician started experimenting his influence, what you call influence quotient, like intelligence quotient, with others, knowingly or unknowingly. So let us say started in class 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then degree. If he has gone to degree, otherwise outside much more operation, no? Interacting with all kinds of people. How many so-called academic students have interacted with deeply with more than 10 students? They know, the other students are familiar, that's all. So they have got something which they cannot explain. Like competency, you cannot explain how you balance your bicycle. Nobody in the world can explain it. So they have got that balance on that complex bicycle of groups and crowds and people, and they know what to talk. It may be very ordinary language, maybe for an academician or for a critical person. So I am talking about language power. Language controls the world, anything. I mean the language of the politicians, language of the whoever, of the manager, of the leader, of the employees, of the husband, of the wife, of the children, anybody, on the beggar on the road, including. So language power and the dialoguing power. That is different from language. Dialoguing. That's in critical situations of training people, in changing people, in motivating people. Real motivation in people should be happening by a dialogue, not by one-way presentation. That also I have differentiated. There's a lot of difference between teaching and training. Teaching is nothing but explaining a subject matter elsewhere, clarifying doubts and making him understand, comprehend and talk back the same subject. Training is to make that person do. You can teach a recipe. You can teach the theory of music. But to everyone to whom you teach the theory of music, you cannot make everyone of them sing. So to sing requires training, and everybody cannot get trained at the possibility of training. Somebody may get A+ for what you call theory of music, but not even what you call D, not even failure in singing. So I am talking about the training and teaching difference. So in training people, in liberating people from the mental blocks, you need that dialoguing power. Make them talk and then respond to that and give them feedback. The power of dialogue is what you see in a fiction. It's what you see in a film. So consciousness clarity. The syllabus.
Yeah.
Second one is, second if you take this much time of introduction, second one we will do after a break. Okay. So it's only an introduction, then we will go deeper into